chapter 18, text number 31. This chapter is titled Mahārāja Parīkṣit Kissed by the Brāhmaṇa boy. Nārayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet nashtaprayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Esha kim nibhrita shesha karanomi litekshanaha mrisha samadhit ahosvid kim nyusyat shatra bandhubihi Esha kim nibhrita shesha karano militekshanaha mrisha samadhir ahotsve kim nyusyat shatra bandhubihi Actually, if everyone can move forward a bit, everyone's very far. Sit here. Esha kim nibhrita shesha karano militekshanaha Mrisha samadhir ahosvit Kim nusat shatra bandhubihi Yesha kim nibhrita shesha Karano militekshanaha Mrisha samadhir ahosvit Kim nyusat shatru bandhubihi Esha kim nibhrita shesha Karano militekshanaha Mrisha samadhir ahosve Kim nyusat shatra bandhubihi Eshaha this Kim whether Nibhrit Ashesha meditative mood Karanaha senses Milita closed Ikshanaha eyes Mrisha falls Samadhihi trance Aho remains Svit if it is so Kim either, nu, but, Syat maybe Shatra Bandhuvihi by the lower Kshatriya. Translation by His Loving Divine Grace, says Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He is repeat. Upon returning, he, Mahārāja Parīkṣit, began to contemplate and argue within himself whether the sage had actually been in meditation with senses concentrated and eyes closed, or whether he had just been feigning trance just to avoid receiving a lower Kshatriya. Paper by Srila Prabhupada, please here. The king, being a devotee of the Lord, did not approve of his own action and thus began to wonder whether the sage was really in a trance or was just pretending in order to avoid receiving the king, who was a Kshatriya and therefore lower in rank. Repentance comes in the mind of a good soul as soon as he commits something wrong. Very important point. Repentance comes in the heart of, in the mind of a good soul as soon as he commits something wrong. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Jiva Goswami do not believe that the king's action was due to his past misdeeds. The arrangement was made by the Lord just to call the king back to Godhead. So for a devotee to go back home to Godhead, some reason has to be there. And so for that, the Lord sometimes implicates devotee in a situation which ordinarily the devotee would not have done. And seemingly it seems like an offense. But that offense is just a reason for the devotee to extricate themselves out of this material world and place themselves at the lotus feet of Krishna. Therefore, there is a verse, the meaning of which says that actually no one should judge a Vaishnava, because a Vaishnava's conduct in all circumstances is determined by the dictation of the Supreme Lord. And even if the Vaishnava seemingly is not by the standard, he is again dictated by the Lord to set an example. For example, Arjuna is put into difficulty where he is uncertain as to what his duty is. So does it mean that Arjuna does not know? No, Arjuna knows. But Krishna puts him in that situation so that through Arjuna, he can teach us Bhagavad Gita. So through the devotee, the Lord teaches the rest of the population, because the devotee is very dear to the Lord. You know, in one of the previous papers we had studied, Prabhupada there mentions that in India there is a saying, the mother-in-law teaches the daughter-in-law by teaching the daughter. So the daughter-in-law has committed some mistake, but the mother-in-law will not say directly to the daughter-in-law. Instead, in front of the daughter-in-law, the mother-in-law will tell her own daughter, you know, are you stupid? You don't understand this simple thing? And if the daughter-in-law is intelligent, she will realize, oh, actually, she did not make that mistake, I made it. So this message is for me. But because the daughter is mother's own daughter, so she can say it like that to her. So similarly, the devotee also feels privileged to become an instrument at the hands of Lord. Like in the morning Sixtakshakam prayers, you know, the last verse of the prayer, we recite, Aseshyava padartha vinashtumam adarshana dharmata karotva yatha tathava vidhata lampata mat prananathastu saeva naparaha. O Krishna, whether you not be present before me, whether you treat me roughly by your embrace, or whether you kick me, whatever you do with me, you are still my supreme master unconditionally. You can do anything and everything with me. That is the devotee's position. So even when the devotee is put into the difficult situation, he does not blame the Lord. Actually, he feels that something is wrong on my part. And he uses that as an excuse to repent and reform. These two R's are very important. Repent and reform. But before repentance, recognition comes. So here Maharaj Parīkṣit is recognizing, yes, perhaps I have done something wrong. And we see in this verse, Parīkṣit Maharaj is doubting, yes, whether he was in trance or he was just pretending. But in either case, Maharaj Parīkṣit feels the action he did, he perhaps should not have done. And quite often happens to all of us. We say something and then we regret immediately. I shouldn't have said that. I remember once I was in saving prasadam, and I was saving puris. So the puri bowl was almost empty. There's still puris there. So I went underneath the table to get more puris. In the meantime, one person in the queue, they put their hand in the bowl of the puri to take it. And I said, "Hey Prabhu, what are you doing?" And he said, "You are busy, so I was taking it." I said, "No, you should not do that. It's an offense." But that person did not know because he was a new person. And then I said, "That's not the way." And he did not say anything. He just moved on. And then a bit later, I realized, Krishna, what did I do? And I went up to him after he had finished his prasadam, and I apologized that I'm sorry, I spoke like that. I should not have done that. But he was quite visibly upset. And he said, you treated me like a little kid. I'm not a little kid. And I still said, I'm sorry. But by that time, damage was already done. So this is the implication. When we speak, we don't realize that the words are mightier than the sword. The wounds of knife heals, but the wounds of words, they actually last lifelong. So a Vaishnava should be very careful, especially in his speech. Vacho vegam, the age to speak should be very, very controlled. One should always, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yasman no dvijate lokam, lokan no dvijate jaya. One who does not put others into difficulty, or is not put into difficulty by others. So there are two things. That others may try to put us into difficulty, but we don't take that. We remain unaffected by it. But then the Vaishnava doesn't put others into difficulty as well. Harsha, marsha, whether in happiness or in misery. Bhaya, whether in fear, udvega, or anxiety. The Vaishnava is equipoised. He is not affected by it. Yo me bhaktas samepriya, Krishna says. That devotee of mine is very dear to me. So Maharaj Parīkṣit, he is a devotee of the Lord. And the first quality of the devotee of the Lord is what? Titikshara, tolerance. He's able to tolerate. Like today we are having Ekadashi, so we have to tolerate the urges of tongue and belly. And this is very important. I remember, when we were little, my mother used to force us to fast. And sometimes we would get very angry. I want to eat. No, you can't eat. You have to do this. At that time, I did not understand. But over a period of time, I realized that putting voluntarily myself through that difficulty is building my resilience and level of tolerance. And one who can control the urges of tongue and belly, they can achieve anything. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Sharira vidya jav, jodindriya kav, jive phele vishaya sarvare. Of all the senses, the tongue is the most ferocious one. If the tongue can be controlled by simply having regulated prasadam and simply speaking the names of Krishna and Krishna Katha, then one can conquer anything. So Mahārāja Parīkṣit was a devotee of the Lord. So hunger should not have affected him. After all, Kshatriya is supposed to be very resilient. They can go days without food and water. But this incident especially happened as an exit path for Mahārāja Parīkṣit to back home, back to Godhead. But from that, lessons have to be learned. And these are the lessons. Yes, we should always give, our Guru Maharaj used to say, always give benefit of doubt to others. Or that Mataji did not speak to me properly. But that Mataji may have been busy. May have been 1,000 things in her mind. Or, that Prabhu did not welcome me properly. Because again, that Prabhu must have been preoccupied with so many engagements, especially pujaris. For pujaris, everything has to be pakka in time. Vishwambara Prabhu comes here on Sundays daily, like 4 o'clock. Aarti plate has to be set, the matches have to be there, the flowers have to be ready, the water has to be in the right pot, Achman cup has to be there, the chamara has to be fixed. If one of the paraphernalia is missing, then in the middle of the Aarti, it's an offense to go and try to get it. So they will be full on. It will be, sometimes it may seem that they don't have time to raise their hands and say Hare Krishna when we come. They are meditative. Similarly, Lord Shiva, when he was sitting in the assembly of Daksha, then Lord Shiva was in Samadhi, trance. Everyone bowed to Daksha. Lord Shiva did not bow, because he actually did not have to bow, because by all means he was superior. Of course, in family relation, he was son-in-law, so he should have bowed down by that calculation. But we have to know that devotion to the Lord, that determines the seniority, not our material calculation or material or skin relationship. So Daksha thought everyone is bowing to me, but this Lord Shiva, and he's so puffed up, and he started criticizing him. When Lord Shiva got out of trance, he did not say anything, no counteraction. No counteraction is the best counteraction. Our Guru Maharaj used to quote from Srīmad Bhāgavatam days of age, I think 7, 15, 24, where in the first line it says, Kripaya bhutajam dukham. Dukham, the miseries, bhutajam, from other living entities. The best way to counteract it is to be merciful to them. Best way to counteract miseries from other living entities is to be merciful to them. And That is the standard of Vaishnava behavior. So, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, the plan was made by the will of Lord, and by the will of Lord, the situation of frustration was created. The plan was that for his so-called misdeed, the king could be cursed by an inexperienced Brāhmaṇa boy infected by the influence of Kali, and thus the king would leave his hearth and home for good. So that for good, the Mahārāja Parīkṣit can leave his house, his residence. The Kali inspired the Brāhmaṇa boy. So Kali Yuga face attacks whom? What class? Brāhmaṇa. It attacks the Sharmas first. No, I mean the Brahmanas, the Mahārajas, the Brahmanas. Why?
They are supposed to guide the rest of you.
Yeah, because they are the head of the society. If the head is chopped off, then the whole society collapses. Therefore, in Kali Yuga, the Kali Yuga first attacks the Brahmanas, and this boy is the first victim of the Kali Yuga. Immature. He was, only a little boy. As soon as, we'll see, as soon as he heard, oh, some king has come, put a dead snake around your father's neck, and he went away. And in the rage of anger, rather than investigating, when some incident happens, the person should first investigate what happened, why happened, how did it happen, why did this person do like that? No investigation, immediately took the water from the river he was bathing in, chanted a mantra and cursed. You put a dead snake around my father's head, neck, 7 days from now, a live snake will bite you and you will meet death. Immediate curse. Yes, Kali Yuga face attacks the Brahmanas there, and then when the head is destroyed, everything collapses. You haven't been listening to the weekday Bhagavatam class? Okay, you missed it. So Mahārāja Parīkṣit, he went in expedition in the forest, and he felt thirst, and he went into the ashram of a rishi called Samika, and there he paid obeisances to the sage and asked for water. But the sage was in deep meditation and trance, so he did not hear him. So when someone is in deep meditation, trance, chanting, devotional service, firstly we should not disturb them, and secondly, if there is some emergency, and if they are really in deep meditation, then they may not hear us. So Mahārāja Parīkṣit thought that he is pretending and insulting, not welcoming me properly. I am the king. So, they say a hungry man and a thirsty man is an angry man. So he got angry and he cursed. But as mentioned here, that anger was just for the purpose so that Mahārāja Parīkṣit can extricate himself out of his situation in this.
So that is why in India, after the independence, they gave more power to the Shudras with the divisive law, and that is how Kali is able to.
That we don't know, but here 5,000 years ago, it is mentioned here. Kalo Sudra Sambhavat, Prabhupada used to say, Kali Yuga, everyone is Sudra. where will we? Yeah, that king would leave his head and home for good. His connection with Srila Shukadeva Goswami would enable the presentation of great Srimad Bhagavatam, which is considered to be the book incarnation of the Lord. So sometimes we feel that, oh, this bad thing has happened. The king has been cursed. It's a bad thing. Someone sent me this clip of the recent air crash of Air India in Ahmedabad. And there, they're saying that this young woman married, she was to catch that flight, but she was 10 minutes late and the check-in had closed. And her husband was in UK, children were there, and she was literally wanting to go into the flight, and she was desperate. So she was kissing the staff, let me go, and she was blaming everyone else for, the delay. And she was saying, you can still let me go, the plane is still there is still time. But, of course, protocols are protocols. No, madam, the boarding, has already closed, you cannot go. And literally she was swearing and cursing. And a few minutes after the flight takeoff, we know all what happened. And she was saved. So sometimes it is better that we don't get what we want, because Krishna has a better plan. She was not meant to die. So Krishna might have missed the flight. But she was thinking, oh, something bad has happened. But after the event, she may have realized. And of course, she may have, if she is intelligent, she would see a greater hand, a more powerful hand in the scheme of events. So what we have to learn, no matter what Providence arranges for us, what lesson we have to learn from this incident? If we try too much to fight it and oppose it, then we are refusing what the Providence has determined for us. Each one of us have been put in a particular position to learn and grow and get out. But if we don't want to learn, we have our own way. We want to dictate to Krishna, no, this is what I want. And we don't want to get out, but we want to make this material world a permanent place. Then we don't know the real purpose of human life. We are not better than animals. Dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho. We are adhika means more interested in a permanent place of happiness, vishesho, to enjoy. Dharme nahina pashuvi samana. We are just four-legged animals otherwise. But a human being, a civil being, their thing is to understand, yes, why I've been put here, what's the lesson for me to learn, and how I can extricate myself out of this situation. And it doesn't always mean winning. Like yesterday in Bhagavad Gita we were discussing that what's the use if you win the battle but lose the war? Ultimately we have to win the war. And sometimes to win the war, some battles we have to lose. Like Ritasur, Prabhupada says, although he lost the battle, but he won the war. So similar with Mahārāja Parīkṣit, if he did not do this, he would not be cursed. If he would not be cursed, he would not have deep detachment awakened in his heart, and he would not have left his home to go to the banks of Ganges. In the banks of Ganges, he would not have met Shukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, who spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to him. And we all would not be here hearing Srīmad Bhāgavatam because of this, if this incident did not happen. So it was all for good.
So he was cursed to die in 7 days. So this entire Bhagavatam was done in 7 days itself.
Yes. His connection with Srila Shukadeva Goswami would enable the presentation of great Srīmad Bhāgavatam, which is considered to be the book incarnation of the Lord. Bhagavata ayam Bhagavatam. Srīmad Bhāgavatam is Bhagavan himself. This book, Incarnation of the Lord, gives much fascinating information of the transcendental pastimes of Lord, like his Ras Lila with the spiritual cowherd damsels of Rajabhumi. This specific pastime of the Lord has a special significance because anyone who properly learns about this particular pastime of the Lord will certainly be dissuaded from mundane sex desire and be placed on the path of sublime devotional service to the Lord. The pure devotee's mundane frustration is meant to elevate the devotee to a higher transcendental position. So, of course, the pinnacle of Srīmad Bhāgavatam, as Prabhupada says here, is the 5 chapters in the 10th canto of Srīmad Bhāgavatam, centered around the rasa dance. But great warning is given by Srila Prabhupada that until and unless one has gone systematically through the first 9 cantos and purified themselves by living the standard of the first 9 cantos, one should not go straight to the pastimes of rasa dance. We see professional recitations, reciters of Srīmad Bhāgavatam, they hardly touch the first 9 cantos. Immediately they jump to Krishna Lila, and because they want cheap adoration, cheap sentiment, cheap tears, and the audience they try to fool, and the audience also are not interested. But Srīmad Bhāgavatam Katha for us has to be Nityam. Therefore we recite the verse, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Nityam means daily. It's not only a 7-day affair. For Shukadeva Goswami and Parīkṣit Mahārāja, especially for Parīkṣit Mahārāja, it was a 7-day affair because he had only 7 days to live. But by that calculation, he did it every day. The pure devotee's mundane frustration is meant to elevate the devotee to a higher transcendental position. By placing Arjuna and the Pandavas in frustration due to the intrigue of their cousin brothers, the prelude of the battle of Kurukshetra was created by the Lord. This was to incarnate the sound representation of the Lord, Bhagavad Gita. So sometimes, people make this argument, why did Krishna not stop the war? He could have stopped the war. But Krishna, there is a purpose. So Krishna, Radha Govind Maharaj, in one of his classes, he mentions that Krishna personally went to Duryodhana to explain to him that don't fight, take the peace, at least give 5 villages and the Pandavas will be satisfied. Now the Krishna, the best of all teachers, Shratva Gunan Bhuvana Sundara, Katva Mukundam Hati Kulashila Rupam, Vidya Vayo Dravinadama Viratma Tulyam. In terms of Vidya, knowledge, no one can surpass Krishna. He is only comparable with himself. And if Krishna, the supreme teacher, explains someone, what that person, there is no reason why that person can't understand. Because Krishna externally is telling, and also Krishna is internally in the heart. But Radha Govind Maharaj mentions, Krishna is explaining, but Krishna didn't want him to understand. Because if Krishna wants someone to understand, that person will understand. So Krishna wanted this battle. And why did he want this battle? Because as prelude to the battle, he wanted to speak Bhagavad Gita and dissipate it throughout the entire world. It's like, it's a major world event. Like we have Olympics every 4 years. And wherever the Olympics is held, everyone in that country, the so-called, the lobby groups, they try to do their own, campaigning or lobbying. For example, I think when China was supposed to be held Olympic Games, then in all foreign countries as well, those organizations which are persecuted by the communists. So I think there is one group, religious or spiritual group, which are heavily persecuted in China. So they would all carry the flags, and their presence is quite prominent. Why? Because it's an opportunity. The world is looking at China. So similarly, Krishna wanted to speak Bhagavad Gita, and he wanted the whole world to pay attention. Because whatever happens in this war, eventually it will be broadcasted everywhere. So just to dissipate the message of Srīmad Bhāgavatam, Krishna had made all these arrangements. Therefore, the Bhagavad Gita is the main part of Mahabharata. And if someone misses Bhagavad Gita and just enjoys the politics, diplomacy, and the rivalry, then they have missed the whole point of Mahabharata. So the Lord uses any excuse to deliver His message. By placing Arjuna and the Pandavas in frustration due to intrigue of their cousin brothers, the prelude of the battle of Kurukshetra was created. This was to incarnate the sound vibration of the Lord, Bhagavad Gita. So Srimad Bhagavad Gita is the sound incarnation of the Lord, Shabda Brahma, non-different from Krishna. So by placing King Parīkṣit in an awkward position, the incarnation of Srimad Bhagavatam was created by the will of the Lord. Being distressed by hunger and thirst was only a show, because the king endured much, even in the womb of his mother. So, even in the womb of his mother, the king endured so much. So, Ashwatthama, as here it is mentioned, he was never disturbed by the glaring heat of the Brahmastra released by Ashwatthama. So, just when you are near the heat, what do you need? More water. You are more thirsty, isn't it? I remember a few weeks ago, there was Ekadashi. Was it Nirjala Ekadashi? I don't know. Nirjala Ekadashi. And we were cooking in the kitchen, and so I did not have any water. And I was making the halwa, and so halwa took long to make, carrot halwa. So just stirring the pot and staying near the heat, so I was fully dehydrated. And so I resisted. But then after a while, I could not resist. After 6 o'clock, I then drank some water. Why? Because the heat. I have done many Nirjal Ekadashis, but this one wasn't able to because the heat is there. So similarly here it is said, the Brahmastra's heat you cannot tolerate. But Mahārāja Parīkṣit was able to endure due to Krishna's message, the Brahmastra's heat. But the heat of thirst here, especially there is no artificial heat, no weapon thrown at him, Mahārāja Parīkṣit isn't able to tolerate. it is due to Krishna's dictation only, because Krishna wants him to cause that offense so that he has a way out of this material world. The king's distress condition was certainly unprecedented. The devotees like Mahārāja Parīkṣit are powerful enough to forbear such distresses by the will of the Lord, and they are never disturbed. This situation in this case was therefore all planned by the Lord, nothing else. In relation to Mahārāja Parīkṣit, a verse is spoken in this chapter, yes, 1:18-48. Tiraskritya vipralabdha shapta shipta hata api nasya tat pratikurvanti tat bhakta prabhavopihi. That the devotees of the Lord are so forbearing that even though they are defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, they never are inclined to avenge themselves. Pratikurvanti means counteract. They don't counteract. And tad bhakta prabhu, and this is the prabhu, the great, powerful aspect of the devotee. They are able to tolerate and become strong. One who tolerates is actually stronger, and they can endure anything. So tiraskritya means defamed. Someone comes, speaks rudely, swears. Yes, it doesn't affect me, or it affects me. If it affects me, then for that time, we can't meditate on Krishna. That person has taken over a place in our mind rent-free. And if we choose to give them that space for a long time, then we are being dictated by that. So is it worth it? Vipralabdha, cheated. If someone cheats us, okay, he cheated. Move on. For how much we will be carrying it on our mind. We were meant to be cheated. Perhaps we cheated someone previously. Now it's coming back to us. Let's move on. Saptaha, being cursed. Someone may with the core. In Gujarati there is this belief, if your tongue gets bitten, someone has gali di kisi ne, someone has swore at you, that's why the tongue got bitten. But what to do? Move on. Shiptaha, or negligence, means, we approach someone, we said Hare Krishna, but they did not reply back. They neglected. Like here Mahārāja Parīkṣit felt neglected. I'm asking for water and this sage is pretending, is neglecting me. Hata, or even killed. Prahlāda Mahārāja was ready to die. But in all circumstances, nasya tat pratikurvanti, there is no counteraction. The only counteraction is, may all good happen to you. Swastiyastu. Prahlāda Mahārāja prays in Srīmad Bhāgavatam, Swastiyastu vishvasya kala prasidatam. May there be good fortune throughout the universe. Kalaha prasidatam. May all envious persons be pacified. Dhyayantu bhutani nidhyam dhyayantu bhutani mitho. That may all living entities mutually think of each other's benefit. Mithodhya. Manascha bhadram may everyone's minds become calm. And with a calm mind, bhajata adhokshaje, may everyone be able to worship Krishna. Adhokshaje. And in this way, may everyone be absorbed in doing selfless devotional service. Dhyayantu bhuta nimithodhyam manascha bhadram bhajata cha dhokshaje. And I forgot the last line, but the last line means, may everyone become absorbed in devotional service, selfless devotional service, bhakti ahetuki, it says. So that is our purpose. Everything else is a noise around happening. It's a distraction. And it will cause us to divert our attention from Krishna. Hey, this person is that, this person said that, this person didn't talk to me, this person, spoiled my sabji, this person did, so many things. Hey, but who is Krishna in all that? So Srīmad Bhāgavatam means focus. Vasudeva Paraveda. The purpose of Vedas is to know Krishna. Vasudeva Paramukha. The yagna we do, the purpose is Krishna. Everything, Vasudeva Param Jnanam, Vasudeva Parakriyaha. The purpose of work is to satisfy Krishna. So this purpose we have to understand. If we understand the purpose, tonight's class is going to be getting the equation right. Yesterday we looked at the art of work, and we saw how Vritasur, his purpose was very clear. Even though he is in a body of demon, he perfected his art of work by just doing what was right. And Indra, even though he won the battle, he lost the war. But Vritasur lost the war, lost the battle, won the war. So similarly, setbacks, sometimes Keshav Mahārāja says that when we have to shoot the arrow, we have to take one step back and pull the string so that we can move forward with greater force, velocity, purpose, and aim. So reverses in life does not mean that we are going back. It is stepping back to move forward. That's how we have to see reverses in life, how the Pandavas are seen. So this situation is case and was therefore all planned by the Lord. Like Srila Prabhupada says that I was not successful in preaching the message of Krishna consciousness in India. What? In India, not successful. India is the land of, if you sadhus, you speak anything, even bogus thing you speak, you'll have hundreds of followers. But Srila Prabhupada hardly was able to influence. Why? Because Krishna wanted him to go overseas and spread the mission of Krishna consciousness there. And when Srila Prabhupada went to America and did that, the movement spread like fire throughout the globe. As he said, Amsterdam is probably the worst of all Western countries. In Amsterdam, everything is so gross and open. And I remember Karam Khan Maharaj telling this story. And in this story, actually, Prabhupada gets angry. And so we see correlation here. Maharaj Parīkṣit has got angry because he thinks he is not properly received. So in Amsterdam, of course, the devotees, got cultivated. And Srila Prabhupada was about to come. I'll end with this story. And Srila Prabhupada was about to come. The devotees at that time were planning for a grand reception for Srila Prabhupada. And they were living in this apartment block. And but that apartment block did not have proper exhaust system for the cooking. And the devotees were trying to cook the food Indian way. So they were doing the chawns and putting chilies in there. And all the smoke from the chilies, the exhaust was going, ending up in other apartments. So everyone in other apartments was choking because of that chili smell of, and radiation of chili. Sometimes when I do the chants, like everyone gets frightened. So they figured out this is coming from this apartment. So the devotees were evicted. And Prabhupada is coming in 3 days. There's no place to go. Where will that accommodate Prabhupada? There's no place for Prabhupada to hold program. So desperately, someone found a godam. Now, godam literally means underground warehouse. And they went, not the best, but what to do? Make the best use of bad bargain. So the floor was really bad. Basically, there was no floor. It was just cement, very rough cement. They said, no, we can't do it here. We need some timber flooring. But they ran out of money already. So the temple commander, he said, took 3 devotees with him, said, let's go to a timber yard. They went to the timber yard at night, and they broke the chain lock, and they went and they started getting all the timber, the flooring timber, and started putting it in the van. And 3 load full of trips they did, 2 and 4, from the godam to the timber yard. And I think the 4th one, when they were doing it, half it was filled, the police siren was heard, the police came. And the police, and when the commander heard that the police are here, he said to the devotees, okay, do one thing, take the timber out from the van and put it back in the timber yard. Start doing that. The police came and said, hey, what are you guys doing? And so the person, devotee spoke, he said, look, we are monks and we don't have a place. Our master is coming, teacher is coming, and it meant that place that we had needs some flooring. So we thought the Lord will understand if we just help ourselves. But then we had a realization, no, the Lord will not approve of this. So we came back and we are putting back the timber we stole into the yard, timber yard. So the police officer said, okay, just put it back and go from here. And the police went. And these guys loaded the whole van and just went away. Anyway, so, the flooring was done, Prabhupada came, grand reception was there. Actually, all the television people came, they were recording. And initiation ceremony was about to happen. And in the altar, they had created, curtains like this. So this place bit reminds me because, we also had to improvise. Okay, we had to put at first, I think first few months we did not even have a curtain. And the lords were, just appearing like that. Even now, we still have to create protection barrier. We're just waiting for the plans to be approved. So yes, the standards were not complete. And Srila Prabhupada sat there to do the yagna. And to do the yagna, everyone knows that you need fruits to be decorated all around. So Srila Prabhupada said, where are the fruits? These are like Westerners, they're not Indians. They hardly know anything. And now, of course, those who have, educated themselves in Krishna conscious philosophy and culture, they know. So no fruits. How can you have yajna without fruits? So Prabhupada said, go get some fruits. So one Mataji went to get some fruits. But she's not coming with the fruits. And in the meantime, the curtain is closed, but behind the curtain, the pujaris are fighting. Why? Because what size of altar they agreed would be created, and accordingly the size of deities. So just imagine the size of altar is there, and Jagannath, Baldev deities were to be carved to fit. But then the person who was carving the deities, he got inspired to make big Jagannath, big Baladev, big Subhadra. That's very good. But he did not inform the carpenter who was making the altar. And the Lord is not fitting in the altar. And then they are fighting there. And everyone can hear what's going on behind the curtain. And Prabhupada is just shaking his head. Where are the fruits? Prabhupada is asking. Get the fruits. Prabhupada, it's coming, it's coming. Time is going on, but the fruits are not coming. What is taking so long? How can the fruits take so long? Prabhupada commanded, it's coming, it's coming. But it's not coming. And after a while, Prabhupada said, just whatever you have, just get it now. So someone went into the kitchen and said to the lady, please, Prabhupada is very upset. He wants whatever you have now. So the whole bowl she got, but it was fruit salad. She had already cut it. You need whole fruits for the yajna. And Prabhupada looked at it and he was just disgusted. He said, this is hopeless, you are hopeless. And that woman started crying. And she ran out into the kitchen crying. And everyone, all the cameras are on Prabhupada. This sadhu is supposed to be a monk. He's not supposed to get angry. He's getting angry. What kind of sadhu is it? All cameras are pointing there. Srila Prabhupada looks visibly upset. And then in the audience, there was a young boy who himself had some anger issues. But the devotees had preached to him. And he was chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And he had some personal experience that by chanting this Mahamantra, yes, my anger is being controlled. I'm more calmer. Jai Shri Radha Giri Govardhan Ki. So this is the effect of mantra. The mantra calms the mind down. Manas trayati iti mantra. It makes us equipoised. Literally, it makes us cool. But here Prabhupada is angry. So that young boy stands up and says to Prabhupada, looks in his eye, why are you so angry? Just chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada immediately, put his hand in the bead bag and started chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Kadamkanan Mahārāja mentions that when everyone saw, all the guests saw, dignitaries saw, that this sadhu was on the ground, and he did not get offended by being told by so-called a young neophyte, just simply chant. Then he won many hearts, and many devotees were made in that trip. So sometimes the devotees may get angry, but we should not tell them, hey, you are a devotee, you shouldn't get angry. No, sometimes may get angry. It's okay. What is the lesson for me to learn? Maybe I made some mistake. Apologize and move on. But don't dwell on it. This is the thing. Because if we are dwelling on it, we are not giving space to Krishna. We are giving space to other things, which is diverting us. But we need to give space to Krishna in our mind, in our thoughts, and in our hearts. And this is what Mahārāja Parīkṣit is immediately doing. As soon as he realizes his mistake, he actually, in the next few verses during the week, will see that those who are not hearing Bhāgavatam daily, please get in the Zoom. It's only half an hour. Even if you are busy doing other things, just put your earplugs on and listen. And such nice realizations devotees are giving. Yesterday's class especially was such a wonderful class by Grace Bhavame Mataji on this aspect of not minding. Yes, Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments?
Just a reflection, Prabhuji. I mean, sometimes, you have these things in your mind, right? Something is bothering you. You keep avoiding it. It was very hard to avoid until you have this, you focus your mind somewhere else. And I think, like you said, right, until that Krishna is in you, otherwise these keeps coming and bothering you and stay in your mind practically.
So rather than, it says, focus your mind on something else. But that something else has to be real. It cannot just be a diversion. So the only real Satyam Param Dhimahi, first verse of Srīmad Bhāgavatam says is Krishna. So only that will pacify. The other diversions will only end up agitating us further. Therefore in Bhāgavatam it is stated, Tadaiva Satyam, that yes, Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. Tadyuhaiva Mangalam, and therefore that is auspicious. Tadaiva Punyam, and therefore that is the only piety. Bhagavad Gunodayam, the meditation on the gunas, the qualities of Krishna. So that is actually not the diversion, that is a true engagement. Everything else actually is a diversion. So we should be in touch, in connection with the truth, and that supreme truth, Krishnad Param Tattvam Kimaham na jane. Tattva means truth, supreme truth. So, Madhusudan Saraswati, he says, Vamshi Vibhushita Karar Namaniradaabhat. There is a boy who is holding flute, Vamshi Vibhushita Karar on his hands. And this flute is touching his lips. Navaniradaabhat. And his bodily color is like a fresh rain cloud. Vamsi Vibhushita Karar Navaniradaabhat. Does anyone remember the second line? I forgot. Vamshi Vibhushita Karar Navaniradaabhat. Arvinda Netran, something Arvinda Netran in the name. Vamshi Pitam Baram Arunabim Vamshi vibhushita kararnava niratava Pitambaram marunabind Arvinda netran. So he's wearing pitambara, like bright yellow garment. Arvinda netran. And his eyes are lotus-like petals. Purnendu sundara mukhad. And his face is like a full moon. Sundara. Arvinda netran. Now, so Pitambaram Maruna Bimba Paladarushtat. Yes, so his lips are like the bimba food, reddish. And he's touching the flute with that. And Purnendu Sundara Mukhad Arvinda Netran. And his face, lotus face, like a full moon. And his eyes are like the petals of lotus, Arvinda Netran. Krishnat param kimapi tattvam aham na jane. He says, I do not know any other superior truth, tattva, to Krishna. This is a prayer composed by Madhusudana Saraswati. He was an impersonalist, Mayavadi previously. But when he heard the glories of Krishna, he became so attracted that he became devotee of Krishna. And when his disciples challenged him, you taught us something else and now you are doing something else, you are chanting the Lord's name. Then he said, yes, because actually he is the Krishnat Param Kimapi Tattvam. There is no Param Tattva, truth, than him. So when we think of other things, our mind is diverted from the truth. But when we meditate on him, his form, his name, his pastimes, then actually we are properly situated in truth. That is called satsanga. There is no meaning to sangha where there is no talk of Krishna. It is asatsanga. So Bhāgavatam says, Mrisha girasta hir asatir asat katha. It is asat katha, where Krishna katha is not there. Na Mrisha girasta hi asatir asat katha. Na katyate yat bhagavan adokshaja. If you don't do katha of Bhagavan, who is adokshaja, because only he, Tadyaiva satyam, tadyuhaiva mangalam, tadyaiva punyam bhagavad gunodayam. Because his katha is sat katha. Everything is mrisha. Mrisha means false. And asatir, untrue. Jai Rantra Srimadbhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitya Gaur Premanande. So today is Ekadashi at 4:30. We'll have Ekadashi Harekrishna Mantra Kirtan and then the Sunday feast program. So please, if you can make it, come. We'll be doing the second part of yesterday's topic. So today's topic is getting the equation right. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki.